I've been told I have a voice. I've been told that I have a voice that projects, and I'm quite the diva, so I do like the attention. I don't want to see anybody falling asleep. Anyway, thank you very much, Ludwig, for inviting me. I only just found out today that I was supposed to say a few words. Yes, so thank you for the brief earlier on. Now, my name's Phyll, and I run an organisation called UK Black Pride. It aims to support, foster great links, empower, liberate and motivate people from the African, Caribbean, Asian, Latin American and Eastern European backgrounds. And when I say black, it's that black in its political sense. So it was very nice to see Audre Lorde on your poster, because many times whenever I work with other organisations, they don't reflect who we are and embrace that diversity. So just a little bit about myself so you all know, because a few people have asked me, you know, oh, that's nice, you know, you do this, you do that. I am a very proud black lesbian woman. Lesbian woman, and I am also not just a woman or a lesbian or black, I'm also a mother. You know, my kids are 18 and 23. I know, I look very young, yeah? and it's important because, you know, I think the brother over there was talking about where are the lesbians. Well, actually, at a time when I was growing up, I had to do what was called conforming to what society perceived to be correct. So I had to be that woman that got married. I was a really rubbish wife, you know, so, you know, and that had children, and oppress and keep what I was really about as a woman. So UK Black Pride, why it actually started, it was born out of, as we say, frustration. You know, if you look at why any sort of movement starts, like the civil rights movement, it was born out of frustration. People were angry. They were taking no more of that BS. They did not want to be oppressed as black people. They don't, feminism, they don't want to be oppressed as women. You know, even disabled people now, they're like, they are not going to be oppressed. They want to have their voices heard, and they also want to be very visible. So my organisation was Black Lesbians in the UK, and it was a group of black women who went out to what was called Southend on Sea, which was near the sea, and we were there with about 50 women, and we said, oh my gosh, this feels brilliant, this is so empowering, this is so liberating, just to be in what we considered to be a very safe space for us to talk about who we are as black women. And I gave you the description of what I mean by black women, not just African Caribbean. It is a wider remit to that. So when we were talking about that, we said, wow, this actually sounds like it could be the beginning of something. It could be the beginning of how Pride starts. So we came back the next year, and we then branched out and shared our space with men as well, black men within the community. So it was an LGBT event, the Q, the I, which is queer and intersex, we invited all. And that's where our movement started. So it started from women, as everything does. And I think that people need to remember that if it's not for the woman, the man would not be here. Yeah? And that's, you know, with that, we have what is called UK Black Pride. We are not just a party. When we say pride, people think about, you know, wearing little things that cover your dangly bits and, you know, the women with tassels everywhere. we put the political back into pride, because when we're talking about a pride, you have to talk about the struggles of where we've come from as a people. We talk about, and not just, let me not say, we don't just talk about, we deal with tackling racism, we deal with tackling biphobia, we deal with tackling fascism, we deal with tackling Islamophobia, we deal with any form of discrimination to people, and what we fight for is equality, freedom and justice. Because many of the people who attend UK Black Pride are from countries where they are not allowed to have a voice. Many of the people who attend and come just to be free in what we class as a very safe space have been tortured, persecuted, or seen their other brothers and sisters killed. I've been quite fortunate to go around the world. I've been to South Africa and met up with the women's organisation called Free Gender. And Free Gender, they took me to what was called the Safe House in the township. And these women had gone through what was called corrective, and I say it in inverted commas, corrective rape. Because they are proud of being who they are, and because they look like some of the pictures that the gentleman first showed in the PowerPoint presentation, they were not accepted, because it's how dare you think you can be a woman and change yourself to start acting like a man. It's not that they're acting like a man, it's that maybe they embrace some of their masculine energy. And what we show at UK Black Pride, be free and be proud to be whoever you want to be. It doesn't matter whether you want to dress as a stud, a butch. It doesn't matter whether you're a man who is more in tune with his feminine side. It's about just being who you want to be. And as Rose said, not being oppressed. But we have to, the one thing we have to start doing within our own communities is we have to start working with each other collectively, because the moment you break down our voice and the moment you say, you know what, that's racism, it's not really my issue, then you have fragmented and broken up the community, and you will never have power and strength. But collectively, together, my issue should be your issue, and your issue should be my issue. And that's the only way that we're going to have real equality. I may not be transgender, I may not be Muslim, but I know that you have suffered something. So an injury to one is an injury to all. And until we remember that, and until we have that ingrained and planted firmly in our minds, we are never going to be able to progress and change legislation and change the way the future is set. Because for me, I want my children to know that they can be whoever they want to be, and they can be the next Prime Minister, they can do this, that and the other. The colour of their skin should not matter. But if you all don't understand my struggle, they won't have a future. So that's how I see it. So as I mentioned, we are there to empower, support, motivate, but we're also there to campaign and mobilise and engage with the wider society at large. And we want to make sure we have allies, because all too often we sometimes just talk to ourselves. Now, I want the straight, the heterosexual person to know what is going on in the LGBTQI community, because if they don't know, how are they supposed to best support us when we're out there demonstrating for our rights? I also wanted to touch on, you know, whilst we're talking about Europe and we're talking about the UK, it's evident that there are some major things happening where we know austerity is not working.